You want to quit smoking. Good for you. You're going to need to know, though, how much nicotine to choose in the juice that you buy when you want to switch over to vaping. So tonight, that's what I'm going to be talking about to make sure you make the right choice and don't overamp yourself. This is probably the video I should have made and released first, but it's important, so at least I'm finally making the video. So you're gonna quit smoking and start vaping. There's some things you need to know, and that is in regards to the e-juice you choose. How much nicotine should you choose? Now, there are a lot of people out there that say, well, if you smoke a pack of cigarettes, you should start with 18 milligrams of nicotine. If you're smoking a pack of light cigarettes, you can start with 12 milligrams of nicotine. Now, the problem with that is none of the people are talking about the type of vaporizer that you're using. Now, as I've said in the past, I started with this, the Nicotine vape pen. This has higher ohms. And just to give you an example, kind of an anemic hit off of it. You don't get a lot, you don't use a lot of the juice, so you're not getting as much nicotine when you take a hit off of it, as opposed to my H cigar here, which is a sub-ohm, and this one, this tank has a 0.2 ohm versus the 3.2 ohm on this one. So if you're using a sub-ohm, you get a much bigger hit. Why are you getting the much bigger hit? Well, you're getting it because you're using more juice. So if you were to put 18 milligrams in this, you would be getting extremely, as they call it, overamped. You'll be getting agitated and upset. Little things will start bugging you a lot more when you get too much nicotine in you and you're just very agitated. So if you're starting with a vape pen, and you just want to have the vape pen and do it to quit smoking, and then you're going to be done and over with it. Definitely, if you're smoking a pack of cigarettes, say like Marlboro Reds, something like that, you'll want to start with about 18 milligrams. You might even want to go a bit higher to say around 24 milligrams. There are some places that make it. 18 tends to be the highest that people use. When I started with the Nicotine, I was using maybe at max 2 milliliters a day of liquid. Sometimes I would only use one, so 18 milligrams is plenty of nicotine. And of that 18 milligrams, not all of that really goes into your body. So it's a little bit of a misnomer. Now, when I switched over to the sub-ohm, you're using a lot more juice. I can easily go through 7. If I'm like totally chain vaping one day, I can sometimes go through 10 milliliters a day. So you want to use a lot less. If you are starting out with a sub-ohm because you like the extra clouds and all that, you definitely would want to start, I would say, if you're smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, and I found like I was smoking light cigarettes, and even I had switched to ultralight, the 6 milligrams, pardon my scratch there, the 6 milligrams actually worked out really well for me, and I didn't have any cravings for cigarettes when I was using that. And then after a while, I was able to go down to 3. If you are not smoking that much, but you want, less than a pack a day, say, maybe you're the type of person that goes out to a bar and you like to have a smoke, so you want to get rid of that, you get the vaporizer. If you go for one of these, I would go for the 3 milligrams. And definitely I would try and work yourself if you're using a sub-ohm. Work yourself down to the 3 milligrams per milliliter, because once you start playing around and blowing huge clouds of smoke, you're going to be sucking up a lot more of your juice, and you don't want to overamp yourself, as I said before, and essentially you're kind of ODing on the nicotine. You don't want to raise your blood pressure up too high, along with the other being agitated from doing too much. As a matter of fact, the few hits I had going back and forth here between the 18 and I have 3 milligrams here, I'm kind of like a little, yeah, this is cool. Overall, though, what I would like to say is, just to recap, if you're using a vape pen and smoking a pack of cigarettes, of regular cigarettes, start with around 18, maybe even 24. If you're a light smoker, as in light cigarette smoker, you can start with a 12, but you might even want to go up to an 18 just to help you stay away, because it is a different feeling using a vaporizer than smoking cigarettes. The throat hit is a little bit different. The heat can be a little bit different, especially with vape pens. If you're going with a sub-ohm, though, I really would not start out with anything above 6 milligrams, because these puppies are going to be giving you a lot of the fluid, which means you're going to be getting more nicotine in them. Now, my last thing that some people are probably not going to like to hear, but if you don't smoke already, don't start vaping. Seriously. It may look cool. Definitely, if you're a smoker, it is healthier for you than smoking cigarettes, but that does not mean vaping is healthy for you. They don't have a long-term study yet that says what happens to people, but doctors do know that it's better to be inhaling 3 chemicals plus a flavoring versus the 4,000 some odd chemicals you get in a cigarette. And there has been some talk of chemicals in e-liquid like diacetyl and acetylcholine. There are a couple of others. Those are all present in cigarettes at up to 750 times the amount that ever shows up in e-liquids. And most of the e-liquid manufacturers now are going out of their way to try and avoid using it. I did see one company that has a couple of e-liquids that do contain diacetyl and acetylcholine, and they have like around, it's less than 25 nanograms per milliliter, whereas like a cigarette will have over 1 million nanograms of diacetyl in it. So definitely, if you don't smoke, don't start vaping just because it's cool. Yes, it is a lot safer than cigarettes, but that doesn't mean in the long term that it is safe. I totally advocate for people who are trying to quit smoking to use this. I've tried patches, I tried the gum, I tried cold turkey. None of those worked. The vaporizers are finally doing it for me, and especially if you live in a place like California just passed an increase on the price of cigarettes. Now a pack of cigarettes is costing you close to $10 a pack. So if you're a pack-a-day smoker and you switch to vaporizing, you're going to notice a cost savings very quickly. Typically my liquid for 30 milliliters runs me about $6.99. That'll last me at least 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks. So that's really good, as opposed to $9 or $10 a day. Much better, way better. So keep that in mind. If you want to try switching to vaporizers from cigarettes, by all means do it. Whether or not you use a vape pen or you use a sub-ohm box mod, they're both great. I do tend to like the box mods more, and I, like many people, ended up going towards one. But I hope this helps you choose which nicotine level to use. And next time, I'm going to be talking about steeping your juices.